Where does love come from? Where does love come from? What do you have to do to get love? In all the ways that your relationships have become grounds for transactions in order to get love, it's time to let this go. It's time to unravel this. In all the ways that you perceive you have to do something in order to be loved, it's time to take this apart. Wherever it is that love comes from, when you do the thing right, whatever that thing is, who's keeping score? Who's keeping track of how well you're doing? Do you get love if you spell everything correctly? Are you loved if you know all of the U.S. capitals? These examples seem silly. Yet this is the equivalent of what you do. If I know what I need to know, given this particular situation, given the rules of where I am, if I understand the environment in which I find myself, and I play by the rules correctly, and I do things well, then I will be loved. This might have been in play when you were a child. But if you are no longer a child, it's time to take this apart. I ask who's keeping score because I want you to see that it is a child within you who is keeping score. A child afraid of doing the wrong thing. This child is very clear about what's expected. This child is very clear about who's watching to mark progress. This child will do anything to get love. This child will stifle intuition. This child will be stepped on. This child will be abused. This child will be overlooked, ignored. This child will find fault with how he or she is wired, with his or her natural state, in order to please the people who give love. This sounds silly to your adult ears. Look at it in what ways your relationships have become transactions centered on you doing the right thing, centered on validation for you proving that you understand the rules of where you are. Look at all the ways in which your relationships have become transactions for this validation. It's easy to talk about giving away your power. It's easy to talk about taking it back. Where relationships have become transactions for this validation in order to ensure that you receive love, there is more going on than giving your power away and then coming to a place where you take it back. You have to stop looking at this in terms of power, having it or not having it. You have to look at this in terms of who is going to care for you. Where relationships have become transactions about validating you because you know the rules and you do the things right so that you can get love, leave behind your idea of having power or giving power away. Let it go. Let it fall away. Where your relationships have become such transactions, look at how you wait for someone else to validate you. This is easy to talk about. We talk about it all the time. But unless we look at where love comes from with open eyes, we cannot see the solution. If you are waiting for love to come from somewhere else, you will always wait. You will always be waiting. You will live a life of waiting. Accept what love is available to you from others, though this is secondary. What is primary, what comes first, is the love you are willing to give yourself. This is easy to talk about too. We talk about this all the time. But who is keeping score is not always clear. Parts of us that know better understand this difference. But when relationships have become transactions for validation, The parts of us that are running our lives are not the centered parts, are not the parts that know the difference. They are children working very hard to meet a need. So where does love come from? Who is the source of love? As long as it is someone else, you will never stop seeking it. When we are children, we wait for everything to come to us. This is natural. We cannot care for ourselves. We need others to provide for us, to give us what we need. When we are that young, infants, everything that we need, everything that we receive is one thing, and that is love. At this time, love takes the form of food. At this other time, love takes the form of touch. At other times, love takes the form of cleaning, holding, gazing. When we are that young, all of it is love. Where we have not grown out of the infant and its needs, the child waiting for someone else to love us, love remains attached to food, touch, cleaning, caring for, cleaning up after. If you have attached love to one of these things or something else, do not judge it. It is easy to judge. You want to judge. Do not judge. Observe it. Once you have observed it, make the decision to detach love from whatever it is that you have attached to it. Food is for nutrition. Fuel for your body. Food is not love. Touch is not love. Cleaning up after is not love. Where love has become a transaction attached to something else, observe this. Make the decision to detach these two things. Provide yourself love without these things. Who is there to love you? If you are waiting for someone else to love you, you will spend a life waiting for someone else to love you. If you are looking for validation from someone else, you will spend your life withholding validation from yourself, waiting for it from someone else. Waiting for it, hoping for it, wanting it, needing it, craving it, does not bring it. It cannot be found outside of yourself. What do you have to do to get love? Where does love come from? In all the ways your relationships have become transactions for this validation, step back. Watch the parts of you that are running this part of your life. Introduce time, a gap in the steps of this process, in how this part of your life unfolds. Watch your reactions. Watch what you think will get you love, what parts of you think will get you love. Observe who is keeping score within you. Seek not to analyze or understand why this is happening. Step back. Choose to observe first. Analysis brings in the judge, and you love to judge. Analysis creates a circle for the judge in you to exercise his or her skills, telling you you are not doing it right. Everything is a should. What you should be doing, should not be doing. Whatever you're doing, the judge says, you're not doing it right. Look at how your relationships have been formed around this transaction for validation. Look at what parts of you are willing to do to get to this validation. Look at what parts of you are willing to give up to be validated. Choose to have compassion for these parts of you. The judge will speak up. Allow this to happen and let it be what it is. It's a voice of criticism. It is attempting to keep you from getting hurt. If you only do this differently, if you only do this right or better, you wouldn't be hurt. this thinking goes. If you had done it right in the first place, you wouldn't be hurting now. What do you have to do to get love? Where does love come from? In all the ways that your relationships have become transactions to seek validation, step back. Observe what you think you're getting. Observe what you are working hard to get. Observe the parts that are keeping score, that are tracking how well you're doing, and have compassion for them. Thank you.